What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Phaithful Phanatics show. We are live here, as always, over on the DSM-Media Twitter and YouTube channel. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to check us out on Twitter first and foremost at DSM_media. Make sure to hit that follow button. And then if you want to be interactive throughout today's show or any one of our live streams that we do here on the platform, make sure to check out the YouTube link. It's in the link tree in our bio over on Twitter. Hit that subscribe button, share it, like it, whatever you got to do to continue to help us grow. We greatly appreciate each and every one of you. I'm one half of your host, Dylan Davis. To my right, my faithful co-host, Scotty. We got a busy show, man. It's a Monday. We might be live every single day this week because of how the schedule is played out. It's an awesome sports week. Obviously, some good, some bad, some ugly to get into from over the weekend. But just for today's show, we got game one from the Flyers Pens on Saturday night, game one from the Sixers Celtics yesterday afternoon. Flyers Pens back at it tonight. We'll wrap the show up by previewing that matchup and see if they can come home with a 2-0 series lead. We've got Adam Schefter not dropping a bomb, but maybe making the A.J. Brown rumors more real for people like you and I than they ever have been, right? And I don't know how much more fighting it that we can do. We'll see what transpires from now to June 1st.
It's a good way to put it, fighting it.
The Phillies swept at home by the Atlanta Braves. They can't figure out a way to score runs in more than one inning. The pitching stinks. The hitting stinks. DeRom's on the IR. It's not a great time at the bank right now, but a jam-packed show nonetheless, man. Happy Monday. It will be live throughout the week, so guys, make sure to follow and subscribe on all platforms.
You hearing me better, man? I've realized I didn't have my mic over here. I had it over by my clothing rack. But
that's funny, but no, I heard you before anyway. But all right, even crisper now.
All right, perfect. But just wanted to add in because I did see this. I was watching the Philadelphia news. I was depressed yesterday because I'm an Arsenal fan too, so I watched Arsenal lose back-to-back with the Sixers. So I got in a little depressive mood in the afternoon yesterday, and for some reason the Philadelphia local news came on, and I did see that Wheels got rocked in the minor leagues. Oh. Was I reading that right?
You may have. Didn't even come across my social media.
I heard he gave up 4 with 2 home runs, something like that, in Reading. I could be wrong. Don't hold me to that. I just remember seeing that on the news, and I was just like, oh, more bad news. Because you want to say, maybe when Wheels gets back, right? But on top of that, man, I also have a coworker who is just a diehard, obnoxious Atlanta Braves fan, man.
Oh, good.
And it was just wonderful, waking up and going to work today and getting to talk with him today. So, I feel you. But nonetheless, I do think the one thing that we went into the weekend optimistic about, feeling good about, was the Flyers. And that was the one thing that held true. So, with all that being said, as optimistic as we wanted to try to be about the Sixers and their situation, we didn't necessarily expect the Sixers to go out and take the Celtics 7 games, right? So that wasn't so – they lost by 30, so it was a little surprising in that sense. But that's a whole other story, right? Didn't expect them to necessarily win. So I think the Flyers are the one that held through the weekend, and they are the one that seems more like the real deal right now.
Right, which is just not where these two franchises are supposed to be when you're talking about playoffs on April 20th, 2026. But it's the world we are in right now. We're going to start positive. We're going to start this Flyers game. But the Sixers, it was a nice way to put it from you. I thought when I was agreeing and nodding, I still agree with you that neither of us, we both picked Boston in 5, where we were kind of just hoping when we gave our predictions that the Sixers would fight. That was the embarrassing part yesterday. You and I were texting back and forth about spread, plus 13. We were talking team total, half or full game. Oh, well, if they have any self-respect, of course they're going to score 100 or 101 points in a playoff game. No, they looked abysmal from top to bottom, so we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But let's start light, man. Let's start fun. The Flyers walked into Pittsburgh Saturday night, and here's where I'm at. And my intensity level, my excitement increased by 100 on Saturday night. The Flyers didn't just walk into Pittsburgh and steal game one.
Right.
The Flyers walked into Pittsburgh against a veteran-led team with Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin, excuse me, I keep fucking up the first name, Evgeny Malkin, Chris Letang, Skinner, who was awesome for the first period and a half, 2 periods in this game against Philly. They took game one. They didn't just steal it. They walked into Pittsburgh and took game one. They played a cleaner game than Pittsburgh. They outshot Pittsburgh. I know the total hits, ESPN has it 41-40, basically dead Pittsburgh with a 1-hit nod. At some point late in the third period, the Flyers were out hitting Pittsburgh. So they walked into their crib. They outshot them, they out-physicaled them, and they outproduced them. And this is a young Flyers team that the one question you had with the youth, with the lack of experience was what would this moment look like? And maybe Pittsburgh wasn't prepared for that. I don't know. But the Flyers quite literally walked into Sidney Crosby's house and took him for a walk in this game. And Porter Martone was fucking elite and special, and we'll talk about him. Sanheim with Martone in front of the net was disgusting. Dan Vladar stays steady for this team. It was an all-out awesome performance from this team in their playoff debut.
Yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head on quite a few marks there. Just thinking about what they actually did, right? It wasn't, like you said, go in and come from behind type of win to steal game one in, Pittsburgh. No, it was you go in, you lead the entire game, right? And they survive a late push by Pittsburgh. Like that's Pittsburgh scoring a goal right after you score that, whatever you want to call it, the
Martone goal,
the official game winner by Martone. You get the Pittsburgh goal right after that, and of course you feel the vets trying to climb back in the game. I think it just speaks to this young group that you've been talking about the last few weeks here in the youth. That's what I'm emphasizing there. I think to your point, it may have just caught them off guard because, Tippett, he had like 7 shots in that night, like 3 shots on goal. To your point, I did read something that like the Flyers out hit the Pens 20-11 in the first period, which I thought that was huge because you're setting the tone in the first period.
Exactly.
Right? We're going to be physical in this matchup. And I think the other thing that I noticed, man, the power plays, that was something big that we mentioned going into this matchup. And I think
just not being a negative on the special teams.
Yeah. So it was, like you said, it was just a good overall performance. And you got to see kind of, I'm trying to say it the right way. Like the key pieces all played out in certain moments.
Absolutely.
Everybody that's been contributing the last few weeks, they all had their
had a part in that game where you pointed to, and it stood out to you, right? No, so a few things here that they did very, very well. When you mentioned, that's what I was kind of alluding to. If you just looked at the total box score afterwards, you see, 41-40, Pittsburgh won the hits category, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't really the case, right? There, Pittsburgh, and then even late early in the third period, they're getting frustrated. I mean, Sanheim's got Sidney Crosby absolutely losing his mind, just taking hacks at him, taking swings at him. Was it Drysdale or was it Drysdale's helmet that he just pulls off and rips off? We get 4-on-4, but I think we got 4-on-4 for both of those, or just the Sanheim one. But ultimately, if you're a Flyers fan, or if you're Rick Tocchet or anybody on the Flyers bench, and you're looking across at Pittsburgh and saying, "Oh, I lose, Jamie Drysdale, or I lose Travis Sanheim for 2 minutes," and I'm not trying to downplay Travis Sanheim, but you lose Sidney Crosby. Well, I'm going to take that every fucking day of the week in this series.
Absolutely.
So they set the tone from that regard, right? Look at the shots, man. A 3-2 game with 37 total shots on goal at the Fly, 20-17. That's the kind of hockey and style we were talking about on Friday's show that the team's been playing. We mentioned over the 9-game, the 7-3, the 9-3 ending to the season. In 7 or 8 of those wins, the Flyers only given up more than 2 goals once or twice. What happens in this one? 2 goals, 3-2, low. I don't want to say low, low action. Like it wasn't uneventful.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
There's just you're not going to find a game in this series where the total shots are 40 to 36, right? Like you're just not going to get that type of action in this series, or maybe any series that the Flyers play in moving forward. So they walked into Pittsburgh and got Pittsburgh again, veteran led, to play to the Flyers' advantage, to play into what the Flyers want to do. Yeah. And that's just something that I wasn't not expecting. I told you, I thought they would win Saturday night. I picked them to win the series. I just didn't know that they would go in there and look that complete from the opening puck drop to the final skirmish where they get the puck out of the zone and the clock hits zero.
And I think to your point, you think about Letang and Malkin, right? The vets on that Penguins back line, like to see them get so frustrated early with the young guys and the way they're playing. Like it's like you knew the youth would get to them at some point, but it's the first game of the series that we're seeing it stick out. Now that can go both ways, of course. They can adjust, they can maneuver and switch things and how they approach it. And we'll see how that goes tonight. But no, I just love stepping out with the front foot forward. And I did want to ask you something, like regarding Martone. Obviously, he's a rookie. He's been a standout. Has the eventual game-winning goal in this one. It's the playoffs, right? This is the NHL playoffs that he scored this goal in late in this game, and it just draws me to think, like when it comes to like rookie performances in Philadelphia, just in recent history, right? You think about like the Coupe de Jean, you think about VJ, he just had his first playoff appearance, right?
Right.
But Coupe de Jean is like maybe goaded with the pick six in the Super Bowl. Like that's a little goaded. Yeah. But where does this guy, like I'm just trying to gauge how special of a rookie type of player this is in hockey terms, man.
It's tough because I don't want to sit here across from you and act like when Martone was drafted out of Michigan State, and when they got eliminated, then there were the rumblings that the Flyers might do this, and then they did it. And I'm not going to sit here and I was like, oh my God, right? I don't know. I didn't know that much of Porter Martone.
Yeah,
I can tell you so far. Obviously, you know this. He's as advertised. The thing that was so shocking about this play, I don't want to say shocking, but the thing that caught me off guard in his debut in the postseason was who you're across from, and there was just no back down. There was no fear. There was no nothing. You and I talked about it in his NHL debut a few weeks ago. Coming in, it felt like he had 300 shots on target in his first game. He gets thrusted right into the first power play unit coming up. Obviously the goal, which I'll talk about in a second, was filthy.
Yeah.
But even on the Sanheim goal, man, he's a big kid. You might not notice it on television, like and with the action moving back and forth. He's a bigger bodied kid, and so he's taken away Skinner's vision, and Pittsburgh just doesn't do a good enough job of getting him out of the way, and it takes away his eyes for Sanheim. Just scoot right in. You mentioned Letang and the veteran leadership there. Letang sinks down instead of attacking Sanheim's body and trying to deflect the shot. So Sanheim, all the credit in the world. It's the flashy play. Duh, he scores the goal. But Porter Martone, just knowing where to be in that moment, helps Sanheim bury that one. And then the game winner, like you mentioned, dude, that's a play where you thought the Flyers had a rush going and the pass gets extended too far down the right wing, and he kind of looks like he's going to be taking it towards the boards, but he's got no help, right? Like the Flyers didn't have like a 3-on-2 transpiring with someone slashing down the middle where he could turn and try to get a pass in. Then you think he's just bringing it back towards the blue line to kind of set up the offense. No, he goes, oh, there's no one skating my direction, and just turns back Skinner's direction and fires one because that's how talented he is, but just the balls in that moment to make that play, to finish that play, it is special. I don't want to, when you look at that question, how special I didn't know a whole bunch about Porter Martone through the draft process, and when he first So I don't want to, Flyers Kingdom is very sacred with that stuff, right? The bandwagon and who's allowed to join right now. So I don't want to come out after not really discussing it for a few weeks there in the beginning of this whole thing. But the kid is fucking special, and to have the it factor to immediately factor into winning, that's different as well, right? Like, it's one thing to come in on a bad team or whatever and Connor Bedard, and that's a whole different. I'm not comparing Connor Bedard and Porter Martone at all. I'm just saying, like, Connor Bedard on the Blackhawks first overall pick, it's very easy to come, and not easy, but you look flashy, you stand out because you're this fucking golden prize in a garbage bag. Yeah. Porter Martone came up during a playoff rush and immediately starts benefiting the Flyers in winning ways.
That's kind of, because I don't want it to sound outlandish comparing, to Coupe de Jean, who had just one of the best.
The moments are just different.
Quinyon Mitchell had one of the best rookie seasons as well. I just make that comparison because immediate impact to winning, and then you just throw in the playoff moments. And, of course, we've got to see how this playoff stretch plays out. And if they get to the Stanley Cup Finals, he scores a goal there, then maybe it is like that, right? But, no, it was just an interesting thought, just thinking through some of the recent Philadelphia rookies that have come through each of these teams and their impact to winning, like you said. And it's just interesting. It's interesting from a hockey perspective like this in the middle of the season. But
it is, man, because where he's getting to now, Scotty, is at first it was kind of just new and fun and like an added bonus, like, oh, let's bring him up and see what he can do right now in this playoff rush. And now you're getting to the point where just night after night he's just on the scoring sheet and he's impacting winning. And you get to right now you're kind of questioning, in any game, Porter Martone is a top blank player on the ice for both teams.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Like, is he the Flyers' best player? I don't. Is he not? Let's call him top 2, 3 on the Flyers, like excluding the goaltending. Right, but that's what I'm saying, right? Because you go back, like, Konechny was an all-star, a year ago or two? Like, Konechny's still very, very, very good. He led the team in points again this year. Michkov obviously had, from 2 years, he kind of comes over with that status. But beyond that, man, like, I mean, he's better than Tyson Forster. He's better than, I know Owen Tippett can do some filthy things, but he's all around better than Owen Tippett. Like, so he went from like just this like added fun prize to, oh, he might already be the best player on the ice wearing orange and black.
Yeah, I think that's insane, man. I think it's insane, but
it is
just part of this insane stretch for the Flyers that they
it's a lot of fun, dude. I know it was in Pittsburgh, so I know I was watching from my house with my friends and people. I know you were watching from home, but like the energy from game one, and now obviously winning game one the way they did, just continuing to build it. It's a lot of fucking fun. Like, you forget how fun playoff hockey is and how crazy and on the edge of your seat playoff hockey, how every shift matters to you. And so to have that back right now feels awesome as a fan. We're going to talk about game 2 coming up just in about 15, 20 minutes to kind of wrap this show up. But let's switch gears here. Let's talk about the other game 1 that took place over the weekend. Sixers go into Boston. And they don't take game 1. They don't steal game 1. They got bent over their father's knee. And they took a belt to the rear end in this one, Scotty. 123-91. Do you want to start? Where do you want to start?
I got some key I guess, points for you, man. Obviously, it's not the effort that you want to see, first of all. And, it started in the first quarter, man. You watch Jaylen Brown just blow by. I can't even remember who was guarding him because they were a non-fucking factor. Like, blew by guys multiple times just in the first quarter, in the first half. Nick Nurse talked about it on the breaks about how guys just weren't guarding out there. They looked unmotivated. They looked non-confident, inconfident. Like, they look like a shell of a basketball team, let alone a playoff basketball team. And they looked lost most of the game. And a lot of it was the way Boston locked in defensively on Maxey, basically boxed him in. It was like a box scheme against Tyrese Maxey where everybody's eyes are on him. And, hey, if Oubre wants to make shots or Drummond wants to make shots today or even VJ wants to make shots today, go ahead and give it a try. We'll go with those odds compared to just letting Maxey cook us. And it ultimately worked. Maxey shot horribly, only ended up with 21 points. I think, it was VJ, Oubre, Maxey, and Paul George combined went 2 for 16 from the 3-point line in this game. Paul George only took 8 shots in the entire game. There's a lot, but I think overall, I think the reason maybe you weren't able to start us there is that, what do you take away? Like that they just have zero chance in like competing at all, let alone winning one game. I don't know. I feel like Boston didn't even really play lights out in this game.
No, they really didn't. It's hard to say that. Jesus, they scored 31 plus in the first 3 quarters, respectively.
They picked it up. Yeah, as the game went on.
I don't want to say I'm surprised that they lost like that, like that badly. I'm disappointed not only in the effort, but I'm disappointed that I actually thought for a second that they would show effort because we walked and then seeing what took place last night as well in Detroit. And we could talk matchups and, this is why we should have lost to Orlando and then, beat Charlotte and we get the Pistons, which of course Detroit, even though Detroit was the 1 seed this year and Cade's phenomenal, of course, the Detroit Pistons are a better matchup than the Boston Celtics. All right. Yeah. I understand that.
Yeah.
But we walked out of that Orlando play-in game, not praising, but happy that this team with the news of Joel Embiid and that surgery, they didn't just roll over and die. They didn't just quit. They didn't just throw in the season, throw in the towel. And then Orlando has all these, speculative head coaching and star issues in the locker room, and the star wants the head coach out of here. And obviously, we didn't play well against Orlando. We didn't shoot well against Orlando, but we beat them. So, look, that shouldn't be a good Orlando Magic team. They were playing very poorly ending the year. Well, how do they respond from the loss in Philadelphia? They absolutely beat the shit out of a young Charlotte Hornets team in the second playing game and then walk into Detroit and basically control the whole game and win by almost double digits last night. That's a team that didn't roll over and die. I don't expect you to beat the Boston Celtics. Maybe it's still shame on me for believing that you could cover a 12.5 or 13.5 point spread in game 1. But what I really didn't expect was for you to get straddled by 30. To not even be competitive. The one fucking moment in the third quarter that this team had with around 6 or 7 minutes left, they cut it to 15. And they had a chance with 3 or 4 straight possessions because Boston missed for 3 or 4 straight possessions after that to cut it to 11, 10, 12, somewhere in that range. Yeah. And God, no one was sitting here confident that they're just going to start hitting threes or things are going to start to go their way. But to just be competitive, to exit game 1 with maybe you can work with something there. And immediately, Boston goes on a 12-0 run themselves. And Nick Nurse can sit there on the podium after the game and talk about how uninspired they looked and the defense was da-da-da. It's another case where the dude sat on his hands, whether his team was doing something positive, negative, it doesn't matter. He waits to call a timeout until the league gets back to 30. What are you doing, man? What the fuck are you doing? What is your job? Oh, they're uninspired. I don't care that they're grown men. I don't care that this isn't college basketball. This is the NBA, where obviously these dudes are paid millions on millions and millions of dollars. They shouldn't need another man to stay in a locker room and give a rah-rah speech and inspire them. But that falls under your jurisdiction as a head coach, to have your team prepared and inspired to play a playoff basketball game.
Yeah.
But no.
They're
soulless again.
They look soulless, man. They look lost. They look like Sixers teams we've seen in the past. I heard at a certain point in the game. I won't even lie to you, brother.
No human being has ever said in their life.
I won't even lie to you. I fell asleep probably in the third quarter at some point. I mean, like I said, I was in a depressed state. I couldn't take much more. I just had to shut my eyelids. But no, just looking at this game, man, they, like you said, they just look soulless out there. They looked lost. And there was a certain point in the game, I heard the commentators talk about it, but they compared it to a previous series recently against Boston. And was it the game 6 in Philly where they just started shooting? It was where Melton missed all of those shots.
Yeah, but we had a lead with like 5 minutes left in that game.
But were we shooting? Did we shoot? Maybe I'm getting games wrong.
We got blown out. We got blown out in Boston on Mother's Day in Game 7 to end the season.
Maybe it was that one where they shot.
I think we only scored like 4 points in the final 4 minutes or 5 minutes of the fourth quarter in Game 6. Remember, Embiid didn't like touch the ball for the last 5 minutes. James Harden was terrible in the last 5 minutes. Tatum hits like 2 threes and they steal Game 6. And
Tatum went off in that game. Yeah. I do remember that. That makes more sense. But nonetheless, that was the type of pace the Sixers were on yesterday afternoon. And it's just unenjoyable. Like you said, there was no point in this game where we got to be like excited to be in the playoffs. It was like belt to ass from the jump, it felt like, man. And I just want to go back to this comment from Mr. Punker.
Oh, no.
He said, we were supposed to draft to battle Boston. Instead, you drafted a 6'4" guard who can't hold Brown or Tatum. Brother, what rookie is guarding Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum? Like,
question too. Is he talking about Maxey or VJ Edgecombe?
I think he's talking about VJ Edgecombe. I think that's the crazy part. Well, Maxey neither. Maxey's not going to guard either of those guys.
No,
either.
But I don't know.
A rookie Edgecombe's supposed to like lock down Jaylen Brown, MVP candidate, and Jason Tatum, perennial MVP candidate. Like, I get it. VJ Edgecombe was not impressive in this game. He did play with effort. I will say, compared to mostly everybody else, he played with effort, but his shot wasn't looking good. The flow. But once again, the whole team's flow was off in general from a scoring standpoint. They had a ridiculously low scoring output. I can't like jump to these conclusions because the other night, Pump said we should have drafted Khan over VJ. Well, Khan isn't guarding Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum.
No, and draft night he wanted Ace Bailey. And me and you were talking about Ace Bailey as well in that moment. But his other pick was Ace Bailey.
Ace Bailey? We'll see.
Is Ace Bailey locking up Jay Brown or Jason Tatum in this series?
We'll see. Jury's out on that one, I guess. But Khan definitely isn't. Khan stunk it up in
all I'm saying to Pumper, I'm not going to do this whole back and forth thing.
Overarching things. Like,
I'm not going to do this whole back and forth thing with them today.
On draft a game they lost by 40 on draft day? Like, no. I don't think that's the case.
Like, that's the thing, right? I'm not going to do this whole back and forth thing, but cool. Oh, man, he looked pretty good his last 25 games on Utah Jazz, who were fucking tanking. VJ Edgecombe is a top 2 or 3 rookie of the draft.
He's a Rookie of the Year finalist.
All right, hold on.
He's a top 3 Rookie of the Year finalist.
I just said I'm not going to do the whole back and forth thing with him.
Yeah,
he found a way to do the back and forth thing with him. That is one of the dumbest comments you've ever made. Oh, Ace. So you'll sit here and say Ace Bailey looked pretty damn good his last 25 games, but act like VJ Edgecombe, who, like Scotty just said, is a top 3 Rookie of the Year finalist, you just dismiss his entire season. And to what you were saying, Scotty, is my whole point about not doing it with him. Because if you take a 32-point loss and your point of view is to say, oh, man, it's VJ Edgecombe's size that is the reason they lost by 32, I don't know how to have a discussion with you.
Like, if you want to have a discussion around Maxey,
I mean, he can't defend a park guard, Pumpy.
We could take the discussion there with Maxey. And I don't believe that about Maxey fully. I don't know. My ruling's out on Maxey and what he can do as like a number one. I don't know. I'm iffy.
I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you right now. Maybe it's egg for him after the series because Maxey flips a script or something. I'll tell you right now. He's not a number one option on a contender. I don't think he's number one option on a contender. I think he's number two. I don't
know when you have these motherfuckers bricking around him. Like I
agree.
He's suffering from the same shit Embiid suffered with against Boston, which is motherfuckers just not hitting shots around him, which then they just bring that fucking box defense around and center their whole defense around one fucking player. And it's so annoying.
And like I said, maybe he has an answer in game 2, and I look, he scores 37 in game 2, and I look stupid. And I hope I do for that reason.
I'm playing devil's advocate.
To your point, no one else shot well. Tyrese Maxey, 21, 8 for 20. He started the game 1 for 1 from 3 on a bank top of the key. He only shot 3 more threes the rest of the way and missed all 3.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. It's tough against Joe Mazzulla.
I can't dispute you fully on that. Like, just to be clear, I was just presenting devil's advocate.
Yeah.
But that is what I've always been a little bit higher on Maxey since we got him in a sense. And I'm coming a little bit back down to earth with my expectations.
What his ceiling is. I think he's fucking amazing. Exactly. I think he's amazing. Yeah. I think when he's on, I think he can score the basketball in a top 5 player range in the league.
Yeah.
When you're talking about winning a championship in this day and age as a number one option, I think he's not at least there yet. The size is always going to play a factor, right? He's not Allen Iverson just getting wrecked in the paint over and over again, and he's whatever. So I think he's a number 2, and I don't think that's. I don't think that. Not just think that. I know that's not a negative thing to say, right? It's not awful.
No, I feel that.
We're starting a new segment today.
It's the same thing I say about Brunson.
Get a comment pulled up for the rest of the show. That's what we're starting for this one.
It's the same thing I say about Brunson. Is small guards as your number ones. It's going to be hard. If they can't defend, they're going to get picked on. And are they going to be able to produce at that
overcome that? Yes,
defense every single night. It's
going to be tough. Outside, let's call this what it was though. Outside of Tyrese Maxey not doing enough, and outside of VJ's size and lack of defense, as Pumper wants to keep chiming in on in the comments with, the entire team was awful in this one.
Yeah.
Look, we talked all year about the lack of 3-point shooting. 4 for 23. You're like, brother.
No chance.
This is what I don't understand. When you take them individually, right? Well, Tyrese can shoot the 3, and Paul can shoot the 3. And Grimes can shoot the 3, and Kelly made 5 of them in the play-in game, and he's been much better this year. And VJ shot around league average from 3. So you take them individually, but I swear to God, the Brooklyn Nets are better than from 3 against the Boston Celtics in a playoff series than we just did yesterday.
Yeah,
4 for 23, 74% from the free throw line. How many ones did they not capitalize on by finishing the 3-point play? Not that changes a 32-point fucking loss, but you just couldn't shoot the basketball yesterday.
They missed so many layups. Layups. Kelly Oubre missed so many layups. Oh my God.
Look,
that's what I
mean.
People
love the energy. I can't deal with players that bring energy and defense and just can't put a basketball in their hands. I can't watch a Dembona play a lot of basketball, man. I can't. From the first quarter when he gets the ball in his hands and thinks he's Superman and has a 3-on-2 break and jumps into Sam Hauser's chest and gets an offensive foul. He also, you mentioned Kelly would let Dembona Missed layup, offensive rebound, missed layup, going the other way. Oh, claps his hands. Oh no, brother, put the ball in the fucking net. Like I don't care about the energy and the athleticism and hustle when you can't do anything with a basketball.
We do. The Sixers love some clunky motherfuckers. Like the Sixers love.
And one more thing, I want to get you stirred up too, Scotty. And look, it's funny because after I said it to my family watching the game yesterday, he actually hit like a 3 and then another shot or whatever. But like from the play-in game and the first 3 quarters yesterday in an ass whooping, very minor takeaway, means nothing to the outcome of this one. But I just sat back and thought, man, I am so happy we traded Jared McCain at the deadline for the plan to keep Quentin Grimes and extend Quentin Grimes. This dude is a non-factor. Wasn't a factor in the win versus Orlando. Definitely didn't help them at all yesterday in an ass whooping. Whether that changes over the next couple games, I don't know. But it's not like Quentin Grimes is getting the Doc Rivers treatment and he's just not getting play time.
Yeah.
He's playing 25 plus minutes a fucking night.
Yeah.
Does nothing. Has done nothing.
He and Kelly, they stick out like sore thumbs when you play a team like Boston because they're low IQ basketball players. I hate to say that. It feels disrespectful, but it's like the only way I can say it. They don't suck at basketball. They're good at basketball. They're ultra talented. They're like super athletic. They both can, to your point, what you said earlier, they both can shoot the ball to an extent, but they take bad shots. They make bad decisions passing. They make bad decisions on when to attack the rim, what to do once they're in the air, so on and so forth. It's just low IQ basketball, and it sticks out because Boston is such a high IQ basketball team that they have Sam Hauser out there excelling, like cooking us. You know what I mean? Like Sam Hauser's out there cooking us. Like it was happening.
Jordan Walsh would have been a top 3 player on the Sixers yesterday.
I'm sorry, you said you wasn't going to pull it up again. It's just like Jaylen Brown does that to everyone. That's why he's an MVP candidate. Yeah. He shoots over everyone. That's why he averages close to 30 points per game.
He would be shooting over Ace Bailey. He would be shooting over Con Knippel. He shoots over Paul George. It doesn't matter if you're 6'8", if you're 6'4", if you're a rookie, if you're a vet. There's a reason the man's averaging 30, to your point, man. It ain't like Baylor Shireman exposed fucking VJ size yesterday. Like, no, that didn't happen. This is funny, though. Like, yeah, dude, they ran out of lineup of Baylor Shireman.
Luka Garza.
Well, yeah, that was the 5 that I was forgetting. Luka Garza, Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, and maybe Jaylen Brown or Tatum, one of the two. Awful. Look, man. I know I shouldn't be like this fired up right now. The Flyers are going to play in 20 minutes.
Get fired up for the Flyers.
We knew that the Sixers weren't winning this series. Maybe shame on us for thinking they could keep it somewhat competitive in game 1. But you mentioned like surprising, like, oh, that's surprising to me. You know what I still find myself surprised at, and to take it back to the head coach and the overall scheme of things. Yeah. Is okay, yeah, well, we're playing without Joel Embiid. And people, for some reason, think like this. They think this offense looks clunky with Joel on the floor because we have to slow down and the ball always has to touch his hands and da-da-da-da-da. It all revolves around him and it's free-flowing when he's not out there. I don't know how I'm still surprised at it, but you play more basketball without Joel Embiid than you do with him. So you would think there would be some cohesiveness. You would think there would be some kind of offensive scheme that the Sixers team implements. They run nothing. The amount of times yesterday that Tyrese Maxey, Quentin Grimes, VJ Edgecombe, or Kelly Oubre brought the ball up the floor, moved it to no one. No one moved, and they took a contested mid-range turnaround over a defender. I swear to God, it happened 12 times yesterday out of their 90 attempts.
It's just how does Paul George have 8 shots? How does Paul George have 8 shots without Joel Embiid? A lot of that's on Paul George and lack of aggressiveness. At some point, coach, let's step in and say, let's give PG the fucking ball a little bit here, and let's see if he can get something going. He was 4 for 8 from the field, man. It makes zero.
1 for 2 from 3. Sense. Meanwhile, Kelly Oubre got 5 attempts up again from 3. VJ got 5 attempts up from 3. Justin Edwards came in the game. I know he made one. Justin Edwards came in the game for half a second, took 3 threes.
Yeah.
But Paul George goes 1 for 2.
Yeah. Can't happen.
That's what I'm saying. Happen. Like, no one should be surprised at this point of any outcome, but fuck, man. Like, they find a new low. Don't think it's possible to just piss you off all over again.
Exactly.
I sat down. I bet the team told. I said, all right, let's see how competitive they can be. Let's put the ball in the hoop. Let's move on from game 1. They did nothing.
This isn't a lie either. This one isn't a lie either.
No.
Hauser was strapping, man. It's weird. It's weird. It's like the Sixers are cursed or something. I don't know. But
I think Steve Kerr is a free agent this summer. Bob Myers. He was courtside. So, he was courtside in the playing game. I don't know if he was. I was thinking about the Magic game at home. But would you do it? I mean, brother, I would take anyone over Nick Nurse at this point. Like, I don't want to say it's not like Kevin Patullo bad, but like when I tell you, like, I would take anybody. I would take Johnny off his couch in his sweats over Kevin Patullo calling plays. Call it like it's Madden, Johnny. The same thing here. Like, I've seen too much of the same. Like this saying, like, Joel played 71 games this year. Right before the playoffs, he got hurt. And oh no, where do we go from
like
here?
This? I can't when he got the hands in the pockets, yo. Like,
you know where they're never at, Scotty? They're never here. They're never here to interject when something's going bad. They're never throwing up. He's not. There's nothing that this man does. You can't convince me otherwise. Yeah, I'm literally like, fuck it. Let Coach Lowry finish out the season at this fucking point, dude.
That's the thing.
He could have gotten playing time yesterday. That's how bad it went.
He could have. That's the thing, man, with Steve Kerr. Like, obviously, you will not say no to a championship-winning head coach.
Right, but when he coached,
I would love a youthful, energetic head coach to come in and just give some energy. This feels like a franchise that's like dying, bro.
It is.
It feels like we are like approaching the end of something, and it's not a great feeling.
It's sad because and don't get me wrong. Again, this isn't to disrespect Joel. You do feel for him at the end of the day with everything he's going through, the appendix, and it's crazy. But like, the sad thing is, we sit here and say, we literally talk about it out loud. Like, Joel Embiid brought back basketball to South Philadelphia, and he did. Like, it was the process. Like, we were quite literally one of the 3 worst teams in NBA history at one point. But all of that never got us out of the second round.
Yeah.
And like you just mentioned, it feels like that era is dying.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh no. But what are we saying? How complacent? I want to wrap this conversation up, get back to the Flyers Pens game 2 in the next 5 minutes. But how complacent have we really gotten as Sixers fans specifically? Not every team in the city, but for Sixers fans, how complacent have we gotten? Because, they're in the playoffs every year. And, they're playing meaningful games. And, they have star-level talent. And for sure. What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy how you can get so low from an expectation standpoint so quickly. But the Sixers are grade A example of that. You just continue to lose hope. The organization continues to make bad decisions that make you worse than what you were before somehow. You continue to find ways to like buy in as a fan to get hype again, and then they just let you down like even further, man.
Yep.
Then they trade away one of your young aspiring players in midseason. It's just weird stuff going on with the organization. It's a bad organization, that has somehow been able to, like you said, consistently make the playoffs the last few years.
Yeah, and I would like to point out, like, I know Pumper's trolling on him, and I know he doesn't like him, but like that does go to point out the talent level of Joel Embiid and how great he actually is when he's on the floor, because he's been able to drag what was a poverty franchise to an overall 1 seed, multiple playoff runs, everything. But at the end of the day, we sit here and we have acted, and maybe again, I'm just being too reactionary now because things are going really downhill at this point. But we have acted like when playoff time rolls around, they're in the same breath as the Eagles. And I know the Phillies are going downward, so it's not a good spot. And the Phillies are comparable to Sixers. They keep letting us down, but like we have lumped the Sixers in with these teams and never get out of the second round.
Yeah.
I don't know that they ever, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I'm it's too much revisionist history at this point and being too harsh on them because it sucks now, but I guess we'll see what changes in game 2, if anything, man. But you mentioned organization flaws. One organization that doesn't seem to have too many flaws, at least over the last decade or so, is that of the Eagles. And you and I have been going back and forth with all these Eagle and AJ Brown rumors over the last months at this point. And then Diana Rossini and Michael thing pops, and we get the see, I told you, like she was just feeding fake stories and everything. And then Adam Schefter comes on board this morning, and again, he's not breaking any news. He's not saying anything that hasn't been said before. But the way that he felt the need, I guess, to post it now, and who knows who's feeding it to him. I have no idea. But the Eagles remain what was the word that she used? The Eagles remain open to trade AJ Brown, and the Patriots are very persistent of AJ Brown. And the post June 1st date, when the money opens up and the legal whatever, it's seeming like that's what we're heading to now. You and I have kind of been fighting against it. No, I don't know how real this is. Oh, look, Howie said AJ's an Eagle. Nick said Howie's an Eagle.
Yeah.
Could be all coach speak and GM speak right at this point. Let's say accepting this and AJ Brown is being traded this summer. How are we here? Because it doesn't, from the Eagles' perspective, this obviously doesn't make you a better football team. Moving on from A.J. Brown doesn't make you a better football team. But at the end of the day, if this is because A.J. Brown wants out, you have to pull the plug. You have to do it. I kind of have not a fun question for you, but does he become hated, and how quickly does he become hated if he's traded? And essentially we're under the perspective that he's forcing his way out of here after all the success that he's had since being here and the team's success.
Yeah. It's a great question, man. I think it highly depends on what comes out after he is ultimately moved from the Birds and why. What was the big issue that ultimately drove him out of Philadelphia? Once we find out what that was officially, because that's the thing, man, we have no idea what could it be that's bothering you. You supposedly were best friends with the quarterback before you came here. He's the godparent of your children or whatever.
We all remember that FaceTime call on draft night, the night the trade happened.
You've been an all-pro receiver. You've been to the Super Bowl twice. You've won a Super Bowl. So you look around and you're like, well, what the hell, man? Is it just as simple as his ego? Maybe there is. Maybe there is a situation that took place in the locker room.
You've also been rewarded not once but twice financially since coming here.
Yeah. No, I've honestly, man, I've looked back on it over the last couple of days because this shit keeps popping up. It's annoying as fuck, like to just keep having the Eagles name drugged through like it's like for clicks and shit. It's just been annoying, and AJ could have been solved this shit. I just look back on it all, man, and I just start to think of like what type of detriment he could be to the team. And, I think back to last season and, some of the success they had early on versus the second half of the season once again. And after AJ did his little spiel, made his shit known in the media again, they start to play worse, but he starts getting the ball. And so, I just start thinking about this little shit. And, I do feel you. When you look at this team on paper, there's no world where you come in the next season without A.J. Brown and say, oh, that's a better wide receiver room. But is it better when you don't have a wide receiver sitting on the sidelines reading out of a book? I'm not even trying to hone in and, just pick on him for that one time. But, that is really weird. That is really pick me. Pay attention to me. Look at me. And, Smith, we have guys that are just not like that. Smitty is not like that. Goddard's not like that. I don't get it. I even heard this rumor, man. I could see this. I heard this rumor that he's jealous of Saquon Barkley and the shine and the attention and the way the offense has been kind of centered around him since he got here. And he is looked at as the reason he was that big addition before we win the Super Bowl. And I did hear that he's gotten a little jealous of the attention and the legendary status that Saquon has kind of taken. This is a generational running back, brother.
Yeah.
Sorry, you got to check your fucking ego. That's where I'm at. If he can't check his ego, then just get the fuck off.
That's where I'm at too, man.
As good as you are
100 times. We can make a video montage of just the same words coming out of our mouths. I don't want to trade AJ Brown. I want AJ Brown to remain an Eagle for the rest of his career.
I appreciate everything he's done.
Yes. The trade is an ultimate success. When you traded for him in 2022 on draft night, you've been to the playoffs every year. You've been to 2 Super Bowls. You've won a Super Bowl. He's been all Pro Bowl. He's been rewarded. Like I said, he came over. He got a contract with the trade, and then Howie, a year or 2 later, redid it and extended him to even more money. This is what I'm talking about, man. That's what it's coming down to. And him and the quarterback. Then if you're not fake, because apparently he's not fake, right? He'll call things for what they are, and you guys are making this up. But forget last year in the comments. Let's go back to 2023 when he made the comments then about the passing game. Well, if that was a shot at the quarterback, be all right, because that's when everything first really fucking started getting started up about their relationship.
Yeah.
Then why, after you caught a touchdown pass in the end zone against Pittsburgh, because you'll remember this, did you run right over to that man?
Yeah.
And you guys did that dance?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. I don't know but the handshake and the feet together and the bouncing around. So if you're not fake, if you're real and you have beef with the quarterback and that's what your personal relationship is fractured, what is that then? That's where I'm getting with him. To me, it's all personality issues. It's egotistical issues. And if he can work it out, if they can work it out, fucking fantastic. Because nothing but winning has occurred since he's been here. But if he forces his way out of here after the team has had great success, he's had personal success, his pockets have been rewarded, then I agree with Martian. I'm going to dislike him from the moment he puts on another uniform.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see the circus that heads to New England if that's where he ends up going. Right back with Mike Vrabel, whatever.
I'm just curious, why would the Eagles trade him? You don't have to trade him where he wants to go. To New England for sure. Yeah. I thought you meant in general, because I was gonna say, to your point, the locker room stuff, like you already alluded to. So but you don't have to trade him to New England.
No, I'm tired of all of it, man. We'll see what happens.
I'm tired of all of it as well. I'm exhausted with it, and I am optimistic with Sean Mannion. I think it's just stealing the attention. We have brought in some wide receivers that, can complement the wide receiver room, and you just can't even talk about it because it causes speculation that, AJ Brown is going to be traded. So it's caused this offseason to be completely unenjoyable as an Eagles fan, for sure.
I agree, man. Look, before we wrap up here, it's 7 o'clock now. Puck drop, I believe, is always 7:10. So I think we have a few minutes to work with here. Flyers, Penguins, game 2, just 10 minutes away. Very tough ask to ask this young team to march into Pittsburgh and take both. I believe they're like plus 120 or plus 125 on the money line. So again, they're betting underdogs, rightfully so in this spot. But they have an opportunity tonight, Scotty. This team has an opportunity to take what's left of Sidney Crosby's career and flush it down the fucking toilet. They have an opportunity to bury the Pittsburgh Penguins. And, you can clip this. It's, I'm getting ahead of myself. They win tonight. It's not going more than 5. You come back to Philly, starving, this city starving for playoff success, for hockey playoff success. First time in 8 years, fans will be in the building in the the Xfinity Mobile Arena, excuse me. Up 2-0? Yeah, I'll call it right now. It's over. They have a chance to flush the Penguins' season down the drain tonight. Now, how do they do that? You got to find ways to continue to muck up the game to play your type of style. The total, man, 6.5. Now, I'm not betting the under because I don't want to try to enjoy the game. You know what I mean? I don't want my money laid that way because if the Flyers somehow find a way to score 4 or 5 goals tonight, I don't want that to, take away and negate from my happiness.
Yeah.
But I love the under. That's just 6 and 7 goals is just not a style either team really plays. Obviously, the Flyers haven't been playing it that way. Pittsburgh, with these veterans who we talked about to start the show, are going to come out pissed off. They're going to come out to set the tone. The question is going to be, can the Flyers withstand that initial punch? Can they withstand the first 6 to 8 minutes of this game? You get into that 10-minute mark of the first period, and it's even. Now it's game on. This is when Flyers hockey starts. Pittsburgh's going to come out like a bat out of hell to start this one. Can they withstand that initial punch?
Yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head. That's going to be the key to this one, this early start, and just getting off to a good start like they did the last game. And like you said, this could be the hardest moment of the series if they are able to come through and win this game. I do agree with you. If they do come out with a victory tonight, they're going to win this series, and they're going to do it in good fashion, as you mentioned. I guess it's on the Pens tonight in a sense, right? I feel like game 1,
absolutely.
Maybe you look at the Flyers, the youth coming in, and you say, what are you made of? And I think tonight it's on the Pens to answer that. And
absolutely.
What are you made of as the veteran-led team, right? So we'll see how it goes, man. Who are you picking in this one? Are you making an official pick? Do you have
look, obviously my heart leans one way. My heart leans the Flyers. And I'm going to tell you confidently that my brain leads that way too. I think momentum is just too far on their side. I think they came into this series as one of the hottest teams in the NHL. And they came in Saturday night and just set a tone that maybe neither side, but especially Pittsburgh side, did not expect. Now, again, that crowd's going to be crazy. That bench is going to be crazy. They're going to be ready to go. Just keep doing what you're doing, man. Because, listen, if there's skirmishes from the opening jump, if there's fights, if Malkin's, chopping people with a stick and Crosby's fighting with people, look, the fans are going to get fired up by it. We're going to be screaming at our TVs fired up by it, but that's advantage Flyers.
Yeah, you're in their heads.
Yeah, Pittsburgh obviously wants to be physical, but you don't want your stars out of here.
Yeah.
And that's what happened in game 1. If you're the Flyers, you keep doing that. You keep throwing your bodies around. Remember, I don't know who the player was that tried to come across the middle on Owen Tippett in game 1. Didn't work out very well for him. Got put on his backside in that one too. But you keep doing that. That's how you do it. And I think they do. I think that's the tone they set in game 1. I think they find a way to win another, not ugly, but mucked up type of Flyers hockey game where they win, again, maybe 3-2. maybe 3-1 somehow, depending how many shots Pittsburgh can actually get on target. Because that's the thing. Everyone keeps talking about, this punch that Pittsburgh's going to throw. They're going to come out fired up. The Flyers don't allow shots on goal. It's a stat I threw to you the other night. From the Olympic break, they are third. They're top 3 in shots allowed on defense. Just not something to do. So I don't think you're going to see a game where Pittsburgh comes out firing, and Vladar's getting fucking peppered. I just don't think that happens. And if that's not happening, what kind of rush are you throwing at me? What kind of storm am I withstanding early? So I think it's all advantage Flyers right now. So yeah, give me the Flyers. I'll go 4-2 because of an empty net goal.
Nice. I like it. I originally had 3-1 Flyers.
All right.
Just defensive, muck it up. Like you said, I feel like that's the way they have to win. And they're really good at winning that way. I think it's not like a detriment saying that they have to win that way. I think they're just really good at doing it. But the other thing I mentioned to you before the show, man, I am going I found it on cover, so I'm not going to take credit for it. But 12 out of the last 14 games with a point. I am going to go Zegras, but I am going to go assists. I'm not going to go.
All right, I like it. Didn't score in game 1. Maybe he finds the back of the net here, but
-1.6. I sprinkled the goal, so I have it covered both ways, basically.
I like it.
But just trying to have some fun outside of the money line, kind of like you said. I did sprinkle the money line as well, just to be clear. So I got a couple.
I'm about to go do the same as we wrap up here.
I got a couple sprinkles going.
I want to
try to enjoy it. Let's just get the W and let's just try to enjoy the game.
Yes, sir. There's over 70 people in here right now. Shows have been a lot of fun recently, and maybe that's all because of playoff hockey, playoff basketball, whether it's good or bad. I don't know, but we appreciate the hell out of you. We appreciate the hell, even Pumper, if you're commenting and pissing me off, for tuning in and commenting. So continue to do so. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's the best and only spot we can really see your comments through StreamYard. So subscribe, follow, share, like, whatever you got to do. All those basic buttons to push for myself, for Scotty, for DSM. Have a great rest of your night, and go Flyers.